and let me know in the chat box where you're calling in from. I want to see your city, your country represent right now in the chat box. We got Phoenix, Arizona in the house, Ohio, UK. What's going on? Rupa, Minnesota, Dallas, Arizona, Hungary, Norway, Albania, San Antonio, Norway, Portugal, New York City in the house, Paraguay, Croatia, Cyprus, Germany, Ireland, Wisconsin, Puerto Rico, Nigeria, California, Sweden, Pakistan, North Carolina, Kenya, Nigeria. Let's go. Let's go. Africa representing hard. Let's go. Kenyan and Saudi Arabia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Georgia, USA, Paraguay. Let's go. This is exciting, exciting, exciting stuff, guys. I'm super excited that all of you guys are here today on this amazing Friday, guys. Happy Friday. What an incredible week it's been. So many incredible updates inside the Akashx community, which makes me super excited. Akashx V2 is going to take our vehicle to the moon, and I'm so excited for everything that we've put together inside this community. And honestly, none of this would have been possible without our founder and CEO. And honestly, guys, I was talking to Josh, all week, myself, Matthew, and we were just like, look, honestly, what can we do to really kind of like get our community to the next level, growing and going to new heights? And the reality is, we realized that one of the things that y'all might be missing is us, right? like I think a lot of the touch points that we've had over the last year have really been very foundational, really putting all the pieces together, creating the right environment for people all across the world to thrive. And I really really feel now we are in a movement with My Daily Choice where we are ready to set the brand to the next level and take this brand to the next stratosphere. And if you agree with what I'm saying, guys, drop a 777 in the chat box if you confirm with what I'm saying. If you believe that what I'm saying is absolutely true, then drop some 777s in the chat box, because the trajectory that we're on is already set in stone. The universe, the world already knows exactly what's going to happen for My Daily Choice and Akashx. We just have to figure out where we're going to be. And the one thing that I think we've been missing this entire time is the nuts and bolts training on teaching you how you can go out there and build an empire using the MDC ecosystem. And if you are someone who is desperately looking to build an incredible business, but you feel like you need some more resources, you need some more tools, you need some more mentorship, you need some more guidance, drop an 888 in the chat box. If you feel like you're so ready, but like you just need a leg up, you just need someone to show you the way and actually guide you towards the path of more success and more life. And the reality is, most of us who are getting started in this industry, we all started from zero. We all came into this space exactly where you are right now. And that's what's so beautiful about this, and what makes this opportunity so unique. And one thing I will say about myself is, anytime I start a new project or a new platform, or, Josh and I and Matthew, we work on something new, although I am leveraging what I've learned in the past to help me get to the next level, what I also do is I unlearn. See, a lot of you also might be in a position where you have already experienced network marketing, you've already experienced mentorship, you've already experienced something that is basically going to put you in a position where you've already learned, right? You've had someone teach you something, and maybe you've seen some success before in the past, okay? And the reality is, sometimes your previous success and what you've learned actually holds you back from where you're supposed to be going, because your ego is getting in the way, because you think you already know it, because you feel like maybe the person teaching you is maybe not equipped to teach you. And that's actually so wrong. And I'll tell you guys some stories about what that looks like. And guys, we're going to have our founder and CEO today do an amazing training for us. So you guys need to make sure, I'm going to keep my part very small, but I want you guys to understand that leadership starts when you have zero on your left leg, zero on your right leg. The moment and the day you decide to get started in this industry is the day that you become an entrepreneur. And how many entrepreneurs do you know that would sit there and watch their business struggle and do nothing about it? I'm asking you guys in the chat box, how many, if you owned a McDonald's franchise, or you owned a bus company or a limousine company or some brick and mortar business that you've put hundreds of thousands of dollars into, would you ever just sit there and let your business struggle and do nothing about it? No, you would never. There's no entrepreneur in the history of the world that would ever just sit there and let their business fail. Okay. So you have to understand categorically that the day you started is the day you became an entrepreneur. And leadership starts when you have zero on your left, zero on your right, no volume in your team, because this is a decision that you have to make. You see, leadership is not some innate ability that you're born with, it's a skill that you learn over time. And it comes with a decision, having a decisive thought on saying, you know what, I'm going to become a leader and I'm going to take the decision to lead my people to battle. That's literally what it is. Okay. So, one thing that you have to understand about leadership is it comes with all different challenges, trials and tribulations, growth and development, fear, imposter syndrome, and all these crazy things that we're going to unpack for you guys as we go through these series of trainings. But the reality is, it's so easy to be a great leader when everything is on the up and up. When people are signing up in your team, you don't even know their name, you don't even know who signed them up, you have no clue where they came in from, and your volume is going up, and your paycheck is going up, and your team is smiling, and everybody is happy. And even though there's problems, maybe there's some tech issues or whatever, but your team isn't even focused on it. But all of a sudden, once that volume starts to dwindle, okay, now what happens? People start to ask questions. Maybe you have some negative people in your organization who start complaining. All these things start to happen. But the reality is, real leadership is tested when things are not going your way. Think about it. Imagine the president of whatever country you're in or the prime minister of whatever country you're in. Imagine when the country is going through its darkest time, your leadership gets small and they start making excuses. They start blaming everything on other people. They start saying, oh, well, our military did this and our Congress did this and the senators did this and the Republicans did this, the Democrats did this, the Federal Reserve did this, rather than taking accountability and saying, what can I do to make this country better? How would you feel as a citizen of your country right now if your president or prime minister started blaming everyone else for all the problems happening in the ecosystem? How would you feel? There's no accountability there. How could you then trust the leadership? The moment as the leader, you don't take accountability and you don't keep your squad in order for them to move to the next level, that automatically disqualifies you from being a leader. Case in point. Case and point. So you have to dynamically understand that the momentum and the energy that's in your team is 100% because of you. Okay. I don't look to any of my sponsors or my uplines or anyone who's above me inside this amazing company and say, oh, my team is struggling because they didn't do this or they didn't do that. The moment I feel that my leadership needs to be present, I present. I arrive. I'm always ready to face the challenges. And you have to understand that inside this ecosystem, that's what you need to do. And the last thing I want to talk about before I bring up our founder and CEO, I told you I'd keep my part very quick, is stick to itiveness. Okay, guys, stick to itiveness is something that a lot of people have never heard of before. They don't understand what it means, but it means your inability to quit and waver. There is never going to be a time in your life. There is never going to be a time in your life where you just have no problems. There's a very famous song by Mace that says, the more money we come about, the more problems we see. Okay. Every new level unlocks a new devil. All right. And the reality is you have to be prepared for this. And the stick to itiveness to your why is so important in these moments. Okay. Like sometimes I feel like in order for people to actually go out there and build the business of their dreams, their mind has to arrive first. Your mind needs to be part of the game before your body enters the game. Your spirit needs to be there first before you get there. Okay. And you should have a commitment that it is impossible for you to walk away from this company, to walk away from your vision, to walk away from your dreams. It should be impossible. It should be the biggest struggle for you as somebody who has aspirations to build an organization inside a company to walk away. Guys, I have friends in different companies where they've literally have nothing but problems, nothing but problems. Their back office doesn't work. Their tech doesn't work. They have no trade providers to provide them trades. They have, a commission structure that changes every week. They don't know what's going on. Sometimes they get paid, sometimes they don't get paid, sometimes they don't get paid for 3-4 weeks at a time. But I'm looking at their leaderboard and they have dozens of people in their companies enrolling 100 plus people a week, a month. Why? Because their energy and their vision and the leadership is so strong, and the unification of what they've built is so much more important than anything that is in front of them right now, because they know that they can onboard the newest customer or the newest affiliate and tell them, look, our community and what we're building here isn't just about the company. It's about a movement that's changing lives. You see, the flag that we're waving here in Akashx isn't just about a product or a service. It's about a mission and a vision. It's about changing lives and inspiring people to go out there to do more, have more, and become more. And you should never look left, right, and center. Competition, guys, is horrible if you think about it all the time. You need to have a blue ocean strategy. You need to be thinking that you can attract all abundance into your life. But sometimes I see people in our company who are a little bit spoiled. And I look at people who come from companies that maybe they didn't have the best experience. And they are so happy right now, regardless of what's happening, because they understand, they have perspective, okay, on what it could look like if they were on the other side. So the reality is, you have grass right here, and it is your job. Your one job is to make this plot of land that's in front of you right now grow, and grow green, and be evergreen. There's no season that could make your green grass turn brown. There's no season that could come in and make your grass disappear. Why? Because you're constantly watering the grass that's directly in front of you. You're not looking left, you're not looking right, you're focused center. Horse blinders on, running to your mission and your vision and your goal. Because we've already established that My Daily Choice has already stood the test of time. 11 years in business, almost $1 billion in sales, $500,000 paid out. Sorry, half a billion, 500,000, $500 million in commissions paid out to the field over the last 11 years. You are not going to find a place where you're going to build longevity. And the last thing I'll tell you guys is, it's my goal, my duty, obligation, responsibility to make sure that every partner here today has an opportunity to be here for the next decade. I don't want you guys, and I said this in the Fort Lauderdale event, I don't want you guys to come to us and thank us for Akashx V2. I don't want you to come to us and thank us for HempWorks or the events that we're putting together and all the amazing things that we're doing. I want you to come to Josh Zwagil in 10 years and thank him for allowing you to earn and to create a life and a vision that you've always aspired to do. Wait 10 years before you thank us, because I guarantee you we're going to be here for the next 50, for the next 100. This is a generational company that is going to feed thousands upon thousands of families. You have to think about what we've created here and what we're doing inside this ecosystem. And you have to understand that this is so much bigger than you. It's so much bigger than me. And one of the biggest perspectives that I have as somebody who's a network marketer in this industry is that companies will always thrive without you. You are not the one person. There's no one person that just makes a company live, okay? Everybody can be replaced. Like it doesn't matter. Like, I could literally imagine, if I stopped working, somebody would come in and literally be the new Ali of Akashx. If Maddie stopped working, somebody would come in and be the new Maddie of Akashx and My Daily Choice. Robert Hollis, Jefferson Santos. This is the reality of life. And if you want to stay relevant in this industry, and if you want to win, and you want your team to respect you, you want your people to be behind you and wave that flag with you, you have to be the one who's willing to outwork every single person in your organization. See, I see people on my team like Wesley and Arabella and Andre Gordon and Armin Tabrizi and Joel Arias and all these incredible people. Karab, who's translating this call right now. Noah, who's in Joey and Maddie's team. I see these people working their tails off, and that inspires me. And that makes me want to work harder, because I don't want anyone to outwork me in this business. And if we all have that mentality, we are going to win. Nobody will be able to stop us. So I want everybody to let me know in the chat box with a 777 if you heard the message, if you understand the mission and the vision, if you are ready to go absolutely all in and just completely take over. Now it's time for you to do the damn thing. It wasn't yesterday. It's not last week. It's not next week. It's right now. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. We can no longer wait. Nobody's coming to save us, guys. It's us versus us. There's no competition. If we're struggling, it's because of us. If we're not winning, it's because of us. No matter what it is, you have to have extreme accountability in the things that you are lacking in your life. And the moment you do that, you will unlock doors that you never thought possible. So now it's time for you to put all the BS aside. Forget your excuses. Nobody's going to listen. Come with solutions. Be a winner. Be a leader. Be a champion. Wave that flag, plant that flag, guys. Let's get ready to bring up our next speaker who's going to talk to you guys about like how you can build your business. So one of the things that I really love about Josh is he's not just like an owner that was hired by a company many, many years ago to come in and be an executive because he was a corporate guy and, you know, he had all these accolades and degrees from all these different universities that says, hey, this guy's an entrepreneur. No, this is someone, okay, who built in the field for 5 years, built a team of over 50,000 active people, okay? 50,000 active people, hundreds of millions, multiple 8 figures in sales in his team alone. This is someone who came from 0, had nobody in his organization, had zero network marketing experience, was 18 years old, popped up to his team with a company that had one product, no technology, no real back office, nothing. And he was able to go along with his team and his leadership and go build an empire. One of the reasons why I love Josh and respect him so much is because he did it in the field first. Then, when he was looking for a new opportunity, he didn't find what he was looking for and he created a home for all of us. Think about the vision you have to have as a 22, 23-year-old young man to think that one day I'm going to have a company that's going to have over 1 million people in a database, that's going to do $1 billion, that's going to change and transform hundreds of thousands of lives all across the world. How can someone do that? And it's because confidence. It's because they did it in the field and they know they can do it again. So there's no better person to actually learn how to build your team from than from somebody who's done it bigger than all of us. The biggest active team I ever had, guys, was 15,000 active members. This guy had a team of 50,000 active members. I want you guys to understand that categorically there's levels to this, and there's nobody who's done it better than him on this call. This is a fact. So I need you guys to take your pen and papers, put your phones on do not disturb. I really wanted to set your mind for you to be prepared to actually hear what he has to say, because I don't want these to just be words in your ears. I want this to be thoughts that become things. I want you guys to manifest before you get the training in order for you to understand that you're in the right place at the right time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to do me a favor, light it up in the chat box for our founder and CEO, Josh Zwagil. My brother, thank you for everything you do for us. The floor is yours.
I'm here, Ollie. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, brother.
Awesome. Well, first off, I just want to hand it back to you. That was like definitely a mic drop speech, and just watching the chat, all the fire emojis, everybody that's so excited. You always knock it out of the park. You're a legend. You do an incredible job. So let's give it up for Ollie. Let's give him some love in the chat for kicking off the call. But also, he made a lot of really good points about mindset and what's important in taking your business to the next level. So guys, I think we should actually do these leadership training calls, once a week. And, depending on how this one goes, we can schedule some additional training calls. And I think it would be a really good idea to get into some important topics to help you go from average to savage, help you take your business to the next level, help you create a winning mindset. And we titled this call by doing whatever it takes. And so if you're somebody that's in the business that, let's say you're excited about MDC, you're excited about Akashx, but maybe you haven't gotten the results that you want to get yet, let's make this call your day one. Forget everything that you learned. Maybe you have an upline that quit. Maybe you've been struggling. Maybe you have a lot of negative, toxic people in your circle. And again, you're not the rank you want to be at. You're not the income level you want to be at. And today's your first day. So you have a clean slate. You have a fresh slate. Everything that happened in the past is the past. And I like to start trainings that way because a lot of people, they get into network marketing and maybe they have a bad experience, or maybe they learn from somebody that's teaching them the wrong thing, and then they get programmed with the wrong information. And so let's make this your day one. And like Ali said, I started out as a distributor in the field. I got into network marketing when I was 18 years old. And that was one of the first things that, I had learned, like, hey, whatever you've heard about network marketing, whatever you've seen, whatever you've been trained, if you've been in another company, like, forget about it. This is day one. And I had a very militant style upline that was teaching me the ropes of network marketing. And there were a lot of things that I had learned in that company. I'm really grateful for that experience. And to Ali's point, I was able to create a team of 50,000 active people in that company. I did hundreds of millions in sales. I hit the blue diamond rank when I was like 19 or 20 in that company. And so I'm going to share just some of the core things that I learned, which led me to doing great things in that company. And really, there, like when it comes to network marketing training, I feel like it's broken down into two things. One is your mindset, and the other is your skill set. You can either work on skills or you can work on your mind. And I would say like 80 to 90% of this business is your mindset. Like every single person can work on skills. You can get better at prospecting. You can get better at doing a presentation. You can get better at doing a call. You can get better at talking to people. But what you can't easily fix is a terrible mindset. If somebody has a terrible mindset, but they have amazing skills, they still may not do well in that company. And so your mindset first is like, I feel like one of the most important things. And what really shocked me when I got into network marketing was when you compare network marketing to working a traditional job. And one of the things about traditional jobs is there's a lie, which is this 40-40-40 lie. And a lot of people, I'd say most Americans are working this lie, which is if you work a job for 40 hours a week, and if you do that for 40 years, you'll be able to retire off of 40% of your income. 40 hours a week for 40 years to retire off of 40% of your income. And a lot of people, when they get to retirement, they're not even able to retire because they haven't saved enough money. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. And so you have people that have dedicated almost their entire work life to a few companies that maybe they've worked their way up, um, in the corporate ladder, and they're still struggling in their final days. And so this is the path that we're programmed to accept. This is the path we're all sold on. And when I look at network marketing, I look at it as such a tremendous opportunity because if you work this business smart and you work it hard for 3 to 5 years, you could build a residual income that could last you for the next 40 years. So, like, would you rather work 3 to 5 years and potentially rest for 40 years, or would you rather work 40 years and maybe retire for a couple of years if you're lucky? Like, let's think about that for a second. Put in the chat, what would you rather work, 3 to 5 years or work for 40 years? Everybody's saying 3 to 5. So here's what's crazy about it. It's a no-brainer of a question and answer. Like everybody is going to say 3 to 5 years, but what's crazy about it is people aren't willing to work in this industry for just a couple of months, let alone 3 to 5 years, which should be the target. That should be the mentality. It should be the mindset. But people, like, they get into network marketing and one thing goes wrong the first couple of months and they're out the door. But then they're willing to work a job for 40 years. That's one of the things I've never really understood about people's mindset. And that's why having this conversation is so important. So I would rather work for 3 to 5 years really hard. I do all of the things I'm supposed to be doing and get to a point where I've built up enough residual income. So the company that I was in as a distributor, I was there for 6.5 years. The first 2 years, I did okay in that company, but I hit it out of the park the third year in. And by the time I got to year three and got into year four in that company, I got to a residual income of about $50,000 to $75,000 a month. Now, had I have quit the business within the first 90 days, I would have never made that money. I would have never started My Daily Choice eventually. And so we have to have that mentality that when you're in this industry, This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not a sprint to the top rank within your first 90 days. And if you don't hit it, you got to go find a new company. You got to check what's out in the industry. You got to compare our comp plan to this deal's comp plan. Like all of that is ridiculous. People like the professionals of this industry that work a deal long enough are the ones that always wind up at the top. Like I've interviewed people in network marketing that have been in the same company for 20 years. They've been in one deal and they're still crushing it in that one deal. And then I talk to people all the time that have been jumping around the industry. Like I know people that have been in like 6 or 7 different companies in the last 5 years. I'm like, that's a company a year. Like how is it possible somebody could be in 5 or 6 like I've been in 2 network marketing companies in 15 plus years. I've been in one company as a distributor and then I started my daily choice. I haven't been in this deal over here, this deal over here, these 3 over here. Like, oh, I'll just try them all out. Like that mentality doesn't work in this industry. And have you ever wondered why somebody could go to a company that has maybe they have bad products, maybe they have a bad compensation plan, maybe they don't have great tech, and things aren't like tight in this company, and they could crush it in that company. And then somebody could go to a company that's really good and not crush it, right? Have you ever wondered why that is? Why are some people crushing it in bad companies? And why are some people not crushing it in great companies? It all is the mindset. It's somebody's mentality. If somebody has a winning mindset, a winning mentality, if they're going to stay in a deal for a long time, if they're going to do all the right activities, if they're going to work on their skill set, if they're not going to quit, all of those things will lead to them doing well in that company. And another thing I love about network marketing is, the freedom and autonomy that comes with this business. I mean, as entrepreneurs, you guys control your own schedule, your work environment, the direction of your business. You have an unlimited income potential. So unlike, working a job, there's no ceiling here. There's no like ceiling for trading your time for money. It's not like you clock in and it's like, hey, you worked, 40 hours this week, you get paid X. That's one of the things that I feel like a lot of people don't understand about network marketing. If you're transitioning from, let's say, the job world to network marketing, the employee mindset is so used to getting paid for your time, right? You're trading time for money. So if you're working 40 hours a week, you expect to be making a certain amount of money for that time that you put in. But in network marketing, you don't get paid for your time. You could work this business 100 hours a week and still make nothing. Or you could work at 5 hours a week and make a lot of money because this business has nothing to do with your time. The whole network marketing industry rewards you for production. So it's more about what are you spending your time on, right? Like you have freedom and autonomy. You have control of your schedule. You have control of your work environment. You have control of who you call. You have control of how many calls you're going to make. And so we'll get into that a little bit later as we talk about like really going into phase one and spending your time on the right things. But I'll say this because Ali made a really good point. One of the things I had to learn when I first got into this industry was having a never quit mentality because a lot of times in this industry, it's not perfect, right? It's never there's no perfect company in this industry. There's every company has products, a comp plan, tech, owners. We all have similar stuff, right? And if you have this mentality where you will never quit, right? You're going to give the business 3 to 5 years. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if there's a storm. You're going to weather the storm. You're going to have hard days. You're going to have days where, everything goes wrong, right? You have to have this kind of mentality in this business because that's part of growth. And that's how you're able to handle challenges and obstacles better. And what I love about network marketing is that you are the only person that can fire yourself. You don't have a boss. If you're in Ali's organization or Maddie's organization or Karab's organization, Maddie, Ali, Karab, these guys can't call you and say, hey, you know what? You really suck today. You didn't bring in enough people. You're fired. It doesn't work that way in this industry. You're the only person that can fire yourself. And you do that by quitting, by joining another company, or like Ali said, thinking that, you know what, the grass is greener on the other side. So I'm going to go to this shiny deal over here. And what's crazy to watch in this industry, because I've been watching it now for over a decade, is people saying like, "Oh, I left this company to go to this one because of XYZ," and then they don't do good in that deal. And then they join another one and they say, "Well, this deal didn't work because of their products." And then they join this other one and they don't get results in that one either. Then they leave that one, they go to a new one and they go to a new one and so on. And it's like you take yourself with you to every deal. Like it's that simple. Like if you're taking yourself with you to every company, it doesn't matter how good the products are, how bad the products are, what the comp plan is. If your mindset is trash, like you're going to get trash results in every single deal you join. It doesn't matter what the company looks like. And so the first thing again is our mindset and our mentality. And when it comes to, I'm sure you guys have heard this analogy before about like mining gold, like giving up 3 feet short. There's a guy during the gold rush, he bought land and he was hearing that, gold has been like discovered in the area, and he was digging and digging and digging for months, breaking rocks, moving dirt, pouring everything he had into the search. And after all that time he put in, all that effort, nothing, no gold, no sign of it. So somebody who's now tired, frustrated, broke. He just dumped everything into this. He gave up and he sold the land to a junk dealer for pennies on the dollar because he thought it was worthless. And what did that person do? He hired a mining engineer to study the area, and they continued to dig, and the gold vein was just 3 feet deeper. That's where the whole 3 feet from gold analogy comes from. And they hit the richest gold vein in the history. And the guy who sold the land, he gave up. He gave up just 3 feet away from a fortune. And so again, the lesson is like most people in this industry quit right before a breakthrough. A lot of people quit right before momentum. A lot of people quit right before a miracle happens in their organization. And the reality is you don't need a new opportunity. You just need a new level of grit. You need perspective. You need to learn how to create excitement and momentum in your business. And just remember, like when your business isn't going right, things get hard, when your friends quit or people in your circle are doubting you or people are talking crap on social media or whatever, you could still be 3 feet from gold. And there were a lot of times when I was a distributor in the field that happened to me. Like, my business was stalled out. My business was flatlined. I didn't have momentum in my team. People were quitting, people were leaving, the company that I was in, they changed their comp plan 6 times. And every time they changed the comp plan, people were scattering. Every time they shut down a country, people were like, that happened all the time in the company. And like, what's crazy about it is, I was one of the guys who stayed. I had a lot of friends of mine, a lot of leaders left and quit. I stayed. And as I have no momentum in my team and I'm just like watching my organization, I'm reaching out to people. I'm trying to see who's still excited, who still is here, who wants to build the business. And after I had people scatter and leave the company, I had other people that I didn't even know were, aces or top players in my group start introducing people. And eventually I recruited a guy from some people in my organization that blew up an African leg that I had, put 30, 40,000 people in Africa. Then I had the same thing happen in Europe. And so I felt so bad for all the people who quit because like, imagine right now you quit MDC Akashx, right? You quit your business, and then let's say 2 weeks later, somebody that you brought in, somebody that's in your team exploded after you quit. That's like one of the worst like feelings in the world, to leave something and then it blows up after you left. So that's the lesson, guys. Like you might be 3 feet from gold in your business and you may not even know it. And so having that kind of like no quit, never quit mentality is really important. And then also like we were taught to guard our energy at all costs. Like positivity is the oxygen of your business. Positivity flows down no matter what. It doesn't matter what's going. It doesn't matter if the world's on fire in the company. Positivity always goes down because negativity spreads like cancer. And the thing is like the organization that I was in, we weren't allowed to be negative. Even though I was a blue diamond in the company, if I was negative at all under any circumstances, I was removed from everything. I was removed from calls. I was removed from chats. I was removed from everything if I showed 1 ounce of negativity. And like what's interesting is I see people in MDC that are just sometimes freely negative in chats, freely negative whenever they want in chats. If I was your upline, right, I would have removed you. That's how we were wired. That's how we were trained. We were not allowed to be negative no matter what. And the reason why that was important is because let's say I'm in a team chat, right? I'm in a group chat, and there's somebody that's being negative in that team chat, and there's brand new people that are excited about the business in that chat. They don't know anything about this particular drama. It's like they're all in the business. They're ready to go 100 miles an hour, but they see that one negative person that's just going on and on and on about how the company sucks because of this reason, the products suck because of this reason, and they need to fix this and they need to fix that. And when is this going to be right? And when is that? Like that new person may quit the business because of that one negative person that's going off in the chats. And so again, we like the rule that we always had was negativity goes up and it goes privately. So if somebody has like a legitimate concern or a problem, they should be bringing it to an upline privately, and maybe that comes to the company and gets addressed, but they should never take that downline, and it should never be public in a group chat or a team chat where it's broadcasted to everybody, because that'll just destroy the new momentum that you have in your organization. And so I think that's probably a no-brainer. But you would be surprised, like how many people do that in this. It's almost like people love to complain, but they do it in a way that can be very disruptive to an organization. So look, as an upline leader, you want to protect your organization. You want to protect the minds of your sellers, your affiliates. And it's a trap, right? Like letting people go off is a trap. And I like when I was running a team chat, if anybody was negative in there, first thing I would do is I would remove them. Then I would have a private conversation with them. And my upline used to say, look, you kind of have to kick people in the face with feather boots. It's like you have to build somebody up and then break them down. Like, hey, like you did this. It's not okay. It's not right. It's not the culture we're trying to create to just like go off in chats and go off on people. Anyway, there's a way to handle it so that it doesn't happen again, and you're shaping the culture of your team, of your organization. And look, if imagine every single person in your organization had the mentality that I have, or the mentality that Ali had, or the mentality that like Matthew Thayer has, or Jefferson, or John, or any of the top leaders in our business. That your whole organization would look completely different because of their mentality. And so there's a lot more things when it comes to your mindset, but I just wanted to give you like some of the main ones about positivity, having this no quit mentality. I love what Ali said about knowing your why too. That's talked a lot about in network marketing. I won't go like in crazy depth about that, but we all have reasons that motivate us. So we have reasons that drive us to build the business. And a lot of people say, well, I'm in this business because obviously I want to make a lot of money. And yeah, we all want to make a lot of money. And yeah, we all want our bank account to get bigger. But a lot of times, your why should be like something that's very personal to you, something that's very emotional. Maybe it's like what that money is going to do for you. Maybe you want to pay off some debts. Maybe you want to buy a home. Maybe you want to go on vacation. Maybe you want to give to charity. Maybe you have something that's like a huge driver for you. And that's what should be your why, not just making a lot of money. You can make a lot of money doing a lot of different things. So what your why is specifically for this business is something that you should write down, you should be aware of, and it should be a reminder to you when things are not going right. When things are not going your way, you look at your why as a reminder for why you're here, why you need to have a bigger fire, why you need to dig deeper. And so that's all I really have to say about your why, but definitely have that, written down somewhere. And look, if you don't have one, this is a good time to do some dream building and create a why. Like I'm sure some people are here just because they want to get good at trading and make money from their phone or create a residual income. A lot of people get into network marketing because they just want to make an extra $500 a month to pay bills, to pay for groceries, to replace, part-time income, so come up with your why, write it down, be positive, don't let negativity spread through your organization, and have that no quit mentality. The next thing I want to talk about, which Ali and I have spent a lot of time talking about, is just going into phase one. Like we hear that term a lot, like we need to go into phase one. I've heard this on a lot of calls too. We need to go all in, right? We got to go all in. What does that mean? Go all in. What does it mean go into phase one? What do all these terms mean? And how do you make it practical for, you guys or a brand new person? And so let me try to break it down this way. There's two different types of leaders, in my opinion, in this industry. There are leaders who are very active in prospecting, inviting, presenting, following up, and enrolling. Those five activities. Those are the people that I consider are in phase one. And you know how you can tell? They're usually on the leaderboard. They're usually on the leaderboard. They're personally enrolling people. They have a lot of personal activity. And if they're not on the leaderboard, maybe they're still doing some of the activities. Maybe they're prospecting a lot. They're talking to a lot of people. They're very active in personal production. Those are people that are in phase one. People that are not in phase one, I guess you could consider are maybe in management mode. And they're just, people that are in management mode, which by the way, I feel like is the death to an organization, is a bunch of people just managing what they've built, right? You're just managing your team. That's not where the money is in this industry. I'm doing software for another network marketing company right now. And one of the guys who's kind of like the master distributor, he's got all the legs under him. He's on top of the leaderboard. He's brought in like 80 or 90,000 in personal volume. So if I'm in his organization, even though he's the top guy, guess how motivated I am to do what he's doing. He's my leader. He's the guy I'm supposed to be following. And if he's number one on the leaderboard, think about the lift he's going to get in his organization. Everybody's going to be trying to chase him, and they are. And that's the difference. People that are in management mode look at their team and they say, "Hey, like I'm gonna answer some chats today, right? I'm gonna go into my chat. I'm gonna answer some people, or I'm gonna post something in my team. I'm gonna post the call. I did the work I had to do today. I posted the team call. I talked to a few people. That is not work. Like this is network marketing. It's not network marketing. It's not manage your business marketing. It's network marketing. To make the big money in this industry, you have to go into phase one and personally sponsor, personally prospect, personally invite, personally present, follow up, enroll people into the business. If you do that activity, you're going to see a lift in your organization because your people are following exactly what you do. The other thing is if you have a dead organization, if you have an organization where you don't have momentum, the way you recreate momentum is by personally enrolling people. And the other thing that happens is it'll create a fear of loss for the people that are already there. And now that these people who've been here maybe for a year or two, or people who've just been kind of sitting around, maybe they're coasting at a rank, they're not the talk of the town anymore because you've got all this new life, you've got all this new business, you got all this new blood coming into your organization, and all of those people are now going to say, well, I'm going to have to step it up if I want to be recognized on calls, if I want people talking about my rank and all these things, like I have to do what these people are doing. over here. And so I really believe that management mode is an income killer in this industry because again, there's only one door to the money in this industry, and it's generating sales. And how do you generate sales? You have to talk to new people, right? How like when I hear people complain about their income in this in an MDC in this industry, the first thing I look at is how many people they've personally enrolled this month. And almost 100% of the time, the people that complain about their income have zero personal enrollments this month. And I want you guys to be honest, right? It's July 25th. Okay. We're 25 days into the month. Post in here in this chat. How many people have you personally enrolled into MDC this month, 25 days in? Okay. 0, 0, 0, 5, 4, 0, 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0, some sevens, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 9, 0, right? So like the people that have seven, the people that have nine, the people that have 10, their income is going to be higher. They're bringing in new business. And look, what if a handful of the new people that some of these people have brought in all go out and get seven or 10 or 20 or 15 new people, right? Then they're all of a sudden their business is growing. For the people that have 25 days in, what I can tell you is it's not that you're a bad leader. It's not that you're doomed in the business. It's just that the activities that you're doing are different from the people that have nine, that have 10, that have 12 recruits. And what it comes down to when we're in phase one and we're looking at how many people we've enrolled, it's the number of new people that you've exposed to the business. How many new people have you exposed to the business? Anytime you're exposing new people to the business, that's going to translate into sales. Think of it like a bucket. Like how many people are in the bucket learning about MDC, learning about Akashx? If you have only a couple people in your bucket, on the other side, you're not getting those sales. And so one of the ways you can increase the number of personal recruits, and you just got to talk to more people. You have to reach out to more people. You got to get more active on social media. Start posting more. Start sending out when there's an opportunity call, when there's a presentation. Get as many people as you can. Master the invite where you're making phone calls and you're in like when I was when I was a distributor, my goal, what I had a daily goal which was 100 touches a day, 100 phone calls a day. I needed to talk to 100 people every single day about the business. And if I didn't talk to 100 people, it was like a bad day. I was on the phone all day long talking to people. And that's the reason why I was the number one recruiter in that company every single month. I beat everybody in that company as a 19-year-old. Not because I was smarter, not because I had more experience. I talked to more people than all of them. I out recruited them because I exposed more people to the business. I talked to everybody about the business. I was posting ads on Craigslist. I was on social media. I was working lead lists. I was working warm market. I was working cold market. I was calling everybody that I possibly could to get to 100 phone calls a day. And out of those 100, look, some days I recruited zero out of those 100. But some days I got one. Some days I got two. Some days I got five, right? And by the end of the month, I had 30, 40, 50 personal enrollments every single month. And that's why I didn't care when people quit my team because I always had a pipeline of new people joining the business. I always had new people coming in because I was doing so much in personal production. And a lot of like, especially like the old school network marketing culture is to like just bring people in and duplicate and taproot. And I agree with that. Like you should definitely bring people in and teach them and train them and create duplication, but you never want to also simultaneously take your foot off the gas on personal production. So you want to have personal production going and you still want to support your team that you have, but you never want to stop the activity that's bringing you in income, to only focus on team management. The other thing I'll say is like in MDC, we have a daily pay. Do you guys realize that? We launched daily pay, meaning the personal enrollments that you bring in today, you get paid on tomorrow. Like most companies don't have daily pay. It's usually weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Like you talk about getting a paycheck every day. And guess what? Like I look at the leaderboard, big shout out to Laura who's got like, I don't know, 40, 50 plus enrollments. Like her daily pay is going to be so much higher than everybody else's because of how many people she's bringing in. So guess what she's great at social media too. Guess what she can do on social media? She can now say like, look at my results. I brought in all this new volume today. And like, so it's like these are the activities that can help you take your business to the next level. Like you should definitely be reaching out to new people every single day, getting people to the presentations, and target the hundred plus calls a day. Maybe you recruit 20 to 30% out of them in the course of a month, and you'd be like number one on the leaderboard. The next thing I want to talk about, and then Ali, I'll kick it over to you if you want to chime in on some of these topics and we can go back and forth, is just tap rooting. And we talked about mindset and we talked about skill set. Tap rooting is a skill set. It's not a mindset, it's a skill set. And I think it's the most important skill set that network marketers should learn. And it's actually a skill set that no one does like there are some leaders that are really good at tap rooting, and they're usually like, multiple seven-figure earners. They've done extremely well in their company, but like tap rooting is, in my opinion, the most important skill set. And here's what I'll say when it comes to tap rooting. Your best leaders that you have are not in your team yet. The best leaders in your organization are not even signed up yet. And the way you find them is they're buried deep. Like it's your job to pull that out of your organization, and you already have a network of affiliates. And look, your affiliates that you have in your team, they already know a ton of people. They already have a warm market. They already, probably have a contact list. How many of those people have you taprooted? Ask yourself honestly. Post in the chat. If you have a team of 5, 10, 20, 25 people, how many of them have you taprooted? How many of them have you talked to, got their list from them, worked their list with them, and got a bunch of enrollments out of it? Put a yes in the comments if you have, put no if you haven't. Not enough, no, not enough, no, 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 not enough. Again, it's like I see it all the time. Like people just for some reason skip tap rooting. And here's the other thing that's crazy. Like when I was a distributor, the best people that I had in my team were all 5, 6, and 7 levels deep. My best producers were 5, 6, 7 levels deep. So that means the person that I brought in, did nothing, but they introduced me to someone else who was now level 2, and then that person quit, but I had a level 3, and then that person did nothing, and then I have a level 4. 5, 6, 7 levels deep, I found my best people, my best recruiters, my highest ranked people. I had in that company, there were maybe 12 blue diamonds in the company. 10 of them were in my organization. None of them I personally sponsored. They were all from people that, were introduced, people in my team introduced me to different people, and those people I just went deep, as deep as I could go in a leg in one of my teams, and I found gold in my organization. And so taprooting builds security. If you're looking to build security in your team, you have to taproot. If you want to go wide, you can do the personal production like we just talked about. Going wide is great, right? You should go wide. You should be bringing in new people. You should be on the leaderboard, but you should also be taprooting as well, because as you're as you're going wide and you've got a pipeline of new people coming in, you still need to be spending some time on taprooting and creating duplication. But the crazy thing is like no one spends time on this. And so what I did in my organization is every single person that I was working with in my team, I told them that they have 24 hours to send me a list of 25 names. 24 hour, and this is how we were taught, 24 hours to send me a list of 25 names. If I had 10 people I was working with, I had 250 names. How many of you guys right now have 250 leads in your inbox? I know you guys have more than 10 people working in your team. How many of you have 250 leads in your inbox? Probably none of you guys. So what if I was working with 10, I wanted access to their list. And the reason why I wanted access to their list was for a few reasons. One, I want to hold them accountable to make sure that they're calling their list. So if they're like, "Hey, look, these are the people that I'm gonna target. I've got a good relationship with them. I think it'd be great to bring these people in." I'm like, "Okay, I have your list." And like anytime I did an accountability call with that leader, I would ask them, "Did you call all 20 on your list, 25 on your list?" And if they had already burned through their list, then I would have them make a new list. And here's the other thing that's crazy is if that person quits because they're unhappy or they didn't get results, I still have their list. I'm still going to call those people when that leader quits and say, "Hey, I got your name from Ali. He put you on his list. He said you're, entrepreneurial. Everything you touch turns to gold. He said you're an amazing speaker. He said all these great things about you, and I just want to know if you're open to checking out this business opportunity." Like I can still prospect the list even if that leader quits, and then I can go back to Ali and say, "Hey, dude, remember that list you gave me like 3 months ago or 4 months ago? Like I've got 7 or 8 guys ready to go. Like get your position going. Help me work these people. They're your contacts. Help me work these people." So there's all kinds of strategies that you can use, but I made sure that I got everybody's list and I worked their lists with them and I held them accountable. And you would be surprised. Like some of my best people I recruited were off other people's lists, and like you already have gold in your organization. You already have it. I know all of you that have a team, you already have gold because it's like the 6 degrees of separation. Somebody that you bring in, is going to know someone who's 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 going to lead you to that ace. So a lot of people like you, Maddie did a great training in Florida about flipping cards and finding aces. And we've heard a lot of these kinds of trainings in the industry about digging for gold and finding that ace in the card deck and finding that top producer. But the way you find them is by working with your organization, getting their lists, working with them, taprooting, and asking people who they know. Who do you know? Who do you know that would be interested in trading from their phone? Who do you know who would be interested in traveling the world and making money? Who do you know who's looking to get healthy and well? Like you have to ask these things to your organization and you have to drive depth. So you want to drive width by personally recruiting and drive depth by taprooting. And guys, if you do those two things, like I don't want to say it's impossible to fail, but the people that I know that focus a lot of time on personal production and then taproot properly, they're always the top income earners in every single company. Like I use the example of my buddy who's, I told you about him before, who, he's like the master distributor, but he's out recruiting all of the leaders. And then I've heard him on conference calls asking his team who they know so he can work their leads with them. I mean, that's if there, like Ali said, there's levels to this game, and that is the next level that I want to see the MDC Akashx community get to, where we are all personally sponsoring, and then as we bring in a pipeline of new business, we're taprooting through that organization, and that's how you guys are gonna create big results. And guys, a lot of people say, "Well, I just need better people. I just need better. I've heard we just need better leaders. We just need better." No, we don't. We don't just need better leaders. We don't just need better people. We have to get better at finding them. They're already here. We just have to get better at finding them. And that's through taprooting. That's through doing these trainings where people's minds expand and then they go out and have a breakthrough and start talking to new people that they were never talking to before and getting results in their business. And so I'll end this. I'll pass it back to Ali here in a second. But I'll end this by saying, here's what I would like to do now that we all kind of know, like, basic stuff with mindset, getting into phase one, being on the leaderboard, tap rooting our organizations. What I would like to do is an opportunity call on Tuesday. So I want to do an opportunity call on Tuesday, and every single person that's on this call, let's make it a goal that you bring 10 guests with you on to the Tuesday call. So I'll do the opportunity call on Tuesday. We'll have some different leaders speak. We'll go over the MDC presentation. We'll talk about Akashx. It'll be a great opportunity pitch for your prospects. And all we need is for you guys to bring 10 guests. So you can post on social. You can reach out to, if you have a chicken list, if you have a contact list, reach out to that list, invite everybody to the Tuesday call. And look, the 10 is a minimum. Okay. That's not like you hit 10 and you should be jumping up and down. That should be the minimum 10 prospects. Because look, we work in law of numbers, right? So law of numbers is you're not going to recruit everybody. If you want to get 3 or 4 in, you probably have to have at least 10 to 20 on the call. So I'm saying 10 is a minimum. If you can go more than that, if you can get 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, more power to you, but a minimum of 10 people. And then what we'll do is on that call at the end of the presentation, all these people sign up, we'll drop the next training that's kind of like this. That way, all of your new people can get on a training, and then on the training, we'll promote the next call. And we'll create a system like that where all you have to do is plug in, right? I've been talking with Ali and a handful of the leaders. We want to create like a recruiting and training system where all you have to do is plug people in, get really good at inviting, bring them on the call. You don't even have to do the presentation. I'll do the presentation. The leaders will do the presentation. And if you guys can get good at that, let's run this thing up and blow it up real big. So with that said, Ali, I've been talking a lot. I'll turn it back to you if there's anything you want to comment on or share about the call. Yeah, man.
Br- Brother, keep talking. I mean, the entire time, almost every single person stayed on the call. I mean, you did an incredible job. I think for me, um, it was very eye-opening to hear a lot of the things that you spoke about, because although these are things that I know, just hearing it from you just made such a bigger impact on how I want to get up after this call and just do my business. So very, very grateful for you guys. Put it in the chat box. Let's thank Josh for his time, for his training, for his leadership. And honestly, anybody who wasn't on this call, I feel bad for them, but we still want them to win, So we're going to get this recording out. I'm going to send it over to the My Daily Choice marketing team. They'll put it together and upload it on the MDC YouTube. So let's talk real quick housekeeping items. So for Thursday, guys, we will have a link and a flyer that will be released. We're going to do the call, I believe, 8 p.m. EST. So definitely invite as many people as you can. Josh said a minimum of 10. Okay. So that doesn't include the people that are in your team. So if I have 10 people on my team and I invite them to the call, that doesn't mean my 10 is done. That means I have to go get 10, and the 10 people that I brought in have to bring in 10 as well. Okay. Yeah. So Tuesday night, 8 p.m. EST, we will get the information out ASAP. Marketing is already creating a flyer. And yeah, so it's going to be a great call. Amazing message, Josh. Thank you so much. What a powerful training. And guys, we're going to do this. We're going to make this thing like clockwork to help everybody develop their biggest teams. And you're going to hear from different people. Next time it'll be Thayer. Next time we'll have, Jefferson Santos, John Haremza, different people, Karab, all coming through to just really help you guys like build your businesses. And I know a lot of people are dying to basically learn how to build on TikTok and social media. So we'll have people like, Laura and Arabella hop on and do trainings and just, put really different things into perspective to help you guys build in all different avenues of the industry. So outside of that, guys, that's basically everything from us. Thank you so much for spending your Friday with us. Let's take this energy and apply it. Okay. Now it's all about implementation, and we'll know who listened based off of how many guests you bring on Tuesday. Imagine if you were willing to do what Josh did with 100 touches a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That means you could literally touch 500 people, invite 500 people to this webinar, and you could literally on Wednesday be somebody who's a diamond, somebody who's a blue diamond, a black diamond. You never know what's possible. You just got to be willing to put in the work. So I appreciate you all like crazy. Thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care and stay blessed.